Hello. This video is to demo the field mapping and answer this question or try to help this issue on the forum. Okay. Let's get some context here. It says that business maps help to pass information from one module to another. Well, the field mapping business map does, and in this case, I need to make a business map that defaults the assigned to user to the current user when creating an invoice from a sales order. Okay, so here there's a conversation here. If you can see here the URL, so you can follow the ticket on the forum, and there's a whole conversation going on here, and there's some testing here, and it ends up kind of undefined. Okay, what I did, this is all about the field mapping. You can find it on the wiki also. This is the URL for that. Okay, and the business map, very easy to find. And we'll get back to this because I have a comment here with this. Okay, so let's see what I did. Let's get some context. I have here my test install. I have a sales order that is assigned to user YMD, test YMD. I am logged in as user test DMY. I have a mapping, which we'll get to, and then I have here the same sales order open, and here I have an invoice which I do not need. Okay, so I'm going to convert this sales order into an invoice, and first I'm going to deactivate this this mapping. Okay, so now with that name, it will not find it, and it will not be applied. Okay, so I'm user test DMY. This is test YMD. So if I create an invoice, clicking here on this link from this sales order, I should get my current user test DMY assigned to the new record. Okay, that's the default system behavior. Okay, the system, whenever you try to create a record, it will default to assign it to the current user. Okay, even if you're creating it from another module, obviously it brought in all the information from the sales order, but still the default user is the current user. Okay, so now I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to suppose here it says that's exactly the behavior they're asking for here. I need to make the business map that defaults the assigned user to the current user. So you don't even need a map for that, because that's the default behavior always. Okay. But taking that a little further, I said, okay, what if I want to assign this new invoice to a given user? Okay, exactly to a given user. So then I do need a business map. So I'm going to activate this one again. This business map here has some other mappings. It's a mapping from sales order. Let's open that up and see if we can see it. Okay. A little bigger. Okay, that was not fun. Okay, from sales order to invoice, and I'm going to convert the subject field on the invoice to the concatenation, separating with a semicolon, the subject, the sales order status, and a constant string, which is from sales order. Okay, we'll see that in the subject line. And then I'm going to copy this out, and we're going to, because these are the first tests that I've been doing, I'm going to copy that, and we'll get back to those in a second. And I'm going to put, now the first thing that I tried and I want to do is set the user of the new invoice to a given user, to one user. Okay, so I'm going to set the assigned user ID on the new invoice to a constant number, which is 8, for example. That's one of the users that are in the system. Obviously, that's a hard-coded user ID. Okay, so that is always user number 8. Okay, so let's go save that, and let's convert this again, and now I should get that assigned not to DMY as before, but to test ES, which is user number 8. Okay, so that works correctly also. Now, the thing was that, okay, says, okay, that's fine. Now, what I really want to do is assign this new invoice to the same user that is assigned the sales order. Okay, so that I would expect this to work. Assign user ID to the field. So as a field, you get the assigned user ID from the sales order and assign it to the assigned user ID on the invoice. Okay, that's what I would have expected to work, but it didn't. So let's do that again, see what happens, and it defaults here to marketing group. Okay, and let's see why. Okay, I'm going to fill in this customer number. This is a text field. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, okay, assign customer NO with the result of this assigned user field ID. Okay, I want to see what actually it's doing. Why is this marketing group coming here? Okay, so I convert it again and I get here that it is 19x7. That's the web service internal reference for the assigned user, really for any reference. Okay, so since it gets this invalid user, it defaults to the first group in the, because the logic here is, can we find the user? Is that number a user? Okay, then we get the user, we assign the user. If not, we go to the groups and we look for it as a group. It can't find it, so it just finds, it gets the first group that it finds. Okay, so we have to convert this assigned user ID into the 7, just the 7, the user ID, the real user ID. Okay, so to do that, we come over here and I'm going to leave this one so we can actually see the result of both. Okay, I'm going to copy this and we're going to make the customer number, actually we can reference here, we can reference any field and any module using this syntax. Okay, this is using the assigned user ID, which is a user field, which is a reference actually on this module. On the sales order, it's a reference to the user module. Use it to go to the user module and bring me the first name. Okay, and we can do that with anything. You could put a potential ID, it's a potential reference, and you can go and get any field from any other related module. Okay, so I'm going to use this trick here to edit my map, and we're going to put here, instead of assigned user ID, I'm going to put, okay, use the assigned user ID, which is a field on the users, to go and get me the record ID field on the user. That should be that 7 that I'm looking for. Okay, so if I copy this again and put it down here, both as a field 1, okay, and this is assigned user ID. Okay, so I'm going to assign the same value to the customer number again, so we can see that it actually gets rid of the 19x, and I'm going to assign it to the assigned user ID, which is exactly what I want to actually do. Okay, so now I should have this assigned as a 7 and assigned to YMD. If you remember, the sales order is actually assigned to YMD. So that's how you would actually make this this logic. Okay, so I covered that. By default, you are already assigning it to the assigned user, to the current user, so you don't have to really do anything there. You could force it also, because in this syntax here, you can also use the workflow expressions, and the workflow expressions would permit you to get the current user ID. There's a function for that, so it would be you could force it, but the system already does it. We can actually also set it to any constant user. If we want all the invoices to be assigned to any number given user always, you can do that with a constant. And you can do this using the record ID trick here. You can actually assign it to the real user that's assigned to the original module that you're getting. Okay. One last comment is that this this last trick here that I did didn't work. It wasn't supported, the record ID, and I implemented that. Okay, I implemented that about 15 minutes ago, and it's here. So you will have to update your CoreBoss to get that working. Okay, that functionality is now available actually in the workflow system. You can do that even in the templates if you need it. Okay, well, I hope that helps you make your core boss a little bit more flexible and powerful. Thank you.